And I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. Oh, no, I won't do that. Hi students, it's your music teacher Brittany, and today I want to talk about that one thing that I will not do for my students. There are a lot of things that I do for you guys. You have access to my entire library, whether or not it's hard copy books or it's digital copies. I will buy materials for my students. I have bought audition tracks for my students and have cut them for their own audition length. I have found opportunities, whether or not it's on stage or on screen for my students. I've recorded my students for auditions. I set them up for college auditions. I have connected them into the community or into more of the music industry to be more involved in it. I've created recitals for my students and then a really nice party and reception afterwards to really celebrate my students and all your guys' hard work. There's so much that I will do for my students, but there's just one thing that I cannot do. I cannot practice for you. Students, I cannot move your hands and your fingers over the piano keys. I cannot memorize a piece for you. I cannot put a piece in your fingers. What I can do, I will do, but this is just one thing that I cannot do. So let's not even talk about music for a second. Let's talk about basketball. Specifically, me on my freshman basketball team. When I was a freshman in high school, I got to be on the basketball team as the bench warmer. I gotta tell you, surprisingly, being a bench warmer is not fun, but I still went to my practices every day that the team met, but I did not practice outside of those practices. I wasn't very good at shooting the basketball into the hoop. I guess that's a little important. So I did go to every practice, but I also did not practice outside of that practice. I didn't practice dribbling or memorize plays. I still showed up to practice. And I also put in my time, my blood, sweat, and tears, and money. I made my mom buy me Nike Shox, which I still have and are still awesome. And I finished out the season in my Nike Shox as a bench warmer. I mean, I was a really fast runner, but that means nothing when you can't shoot the basketball into the basket. Students, I will help you when you need help, but I will not give you answers. I will not read your sheet music for you. I will not move your hands for you. I will not be able to help you coordinate your support in your body. I cannot do those things. I especially cannot give you answers to things in your lessons if it's something that we went over the week before and the previous weeks before that. First and foremost, when you come into my studio, I treat you and I work with you like a fellow musician. I can completely understand struggling to understand something, but asking questions, circling your music, and actively trying to learn. I cannot understand struggling and not trying and giving up. And that's when giving answers comes in. I cannot do that to you in a performance, and I cannot do that to you in your practice time, because in the studio, we practice the way that we are going to perform. I do not want you to be a bench warmer in your own lesson. I try to be honest when I have beginning piano students, when I say that piano is going to be hard if you don't practice. Learning the bel canto technique of vocal singing is going to be hard if you don't practice. Music, just like basketball, is a skill and requires daily practice. And your practicing doesn't have to look like, I practiced for 3 hours this morning at sunrise. It can look like 30 minutes after dinner or in between shows. The best thing that I did to practice piano is that I would put the piano right next to my bed. So whenever I got bored watching TV, I would be like, well, I can practice my scales. And then once I got frustrated or tired of practicing my scales, I would go back and watching TV. So when I returned to my teacher, he was like, where did this come from, Brittany? And I was like, in between commercials. But keep at it, students. It does work, and I do see it. It is noticeable how much that you practice. Also, we get to have super awesome lessons when you practice. I'm telling you that you trying to work through trouble spots in your music, your time will not be wasted. Even if you're not doing it quick enough or what you deem as quick enough, Your time is not going to be wasted because you are progressing. Yes, it looks and it feels like trudging through quicksand, but the more that you trudge and the more that you work through all these trouble spots, the closer you are going to be to your success. It's true. And students, I was once a student. I know your tricks. It is very noticeable whether or not you practice between lessons or you don't. Well, happy practicing, students. You better be practicing. I see you. Get off the computer. Get off your phone. Go practice. Go practice.